Hey guys, my name is Gloria and welcome back to my channel. So a few days ago I put up a short video just asking for people to reply in the comments of that video of any possible questions or assumptions or whatever they might have about me. This is my 100th video on this channel, so I thought I would do something a little different, something a little fun. I haven't done any Q&As before or anything. I've done a lot of tags and stuff, but I just thought I'd give it a go. Why not? And surprisingly, a few very kind people actually put some questions and assumptions on that video, so I do actually have something to say for today, which is nice. So let's get into the questions. I did take notes on these because otherwise I would have just been rambling for hours and this would have been a nightmare to actually edit, but we'll see how it goes. So the first question I have, these might be in reverse order because I just took them from the order on the video, but anywho, the lovely Kim Thomas has asked me, Kim was the winner of my book giveaway on Instagram, by the way, so I hope she likes those Dorothy McArdle books that I sent. Her question was, what is your writing story? When did you start and what have you written? Well, so I've always been I've always been writing stories. I wonder, yeah, I keep my writing stuff for this one. I have a book though, I have a journal, that I have had since 2001. Well, that's a note that was on that. But I have so much stuff from being a kid. Didn't you just love coining those in when you were a kid? I was always writing stories, always making up stories and drawing mermaids, obviously. So I've always been writing. I started to take it kind of seriously after college. I always kind of thought, like, yeah, I'll write a book. That's what people do, they write books. But it's actually a little bit harder than that. But I started taking it more seriously after college. I was working horrible catering jobs that were just crushing my soul. So I just up and quit one of them, and I did 6 weeks just volunteering in the Irish Writers' Centre, just as an administrator, just doing secretary work, but even just being in that environment and being around so many people who were coming in at different stages of beginning writing or trying to market their books or publishing or whatever, just being in that environment was like a godsend to me. And then I started taking classes in the Irish Writers' Centre, and I started signing up for things and doing like open mics where I'd read out a bit of my writing and whatnot, and it just went on from there. I was a young writer delegate. They picked a couple of young writers to go and represent them at literary festivals and stuff, and I went to CO.AG, which is in Galway, and we got to do everything for free and it was amazing. And just it went on from there. So at the minute I have a couple of drafts of novels. As you can see, I'm doing NaNoWriMo, so this will be my third novel draft. I'm trying to get those polished up so that I can query them to agents and stuff. At the moment, I haven't been published in anything, but I have a few short stories written and I have another few on the way that I'm hoping to put forward to magazines and stuff, so that will most likely be my first published thing, would be a short story in a magazine or anthology or something. I have read a couple of those stories out on this channel. I did that last month, so those ones I really like those ones. I'm quite proud of those. And NaNoWriMo is doing quite well. I should have more than that for today, but I know that I can totally catch up on that today or tomorrow, so I'm not too fussed about that. But yeah, so that is my writing journey. I've been trying to work up to a lot of things for the last couple of years. And just in case anyone is interested, I will be trying to traditionally publish my novels, just because I think I need some more guidance and I need some more editing before it's actually ready to be published. I know there are lots of people out there who do all their own editing and they can polish everything and they can get everything done themselves, but I think for the moment I'm going to try and do traditional publishing anyway. If that doesn't work out in the next few years, then I might do indie publishing, but that's where I'm headed for the moment. Next question is from Nihilist Geek. So he had an assumption. I mentioned in my last video that there's probably no need for me to do a Q&A because I'm sure I've told people what my blood type is already. His assumption is that my blood type is O negative, I think he said. No, I don't think so. I used to have a card for blood donating, but I lost my wallet, so I lost the card. But I think it was AB something. It was something that wasn't very rare and they didn't need it a lot, so I used to get texts saying, if you're this blood type, don't bother coming in. Fun fact, I've meant to give blood a lot, but I've only actually given it twice since I turned 18 because you have to wait 4 months after getting a tattoo or a piercing, and I get tattoos and piercings so frequently and redo my piercings and stuff that it's always just at the wrong time and I can't actually donate blood, which is nonsense. I should be donating more blood. People need my blood. The next question is a mix of Nihilist Geek and Working Man Reads questions. They both, I think, Nihilist Geek assumed that I listen to gothy music, and Working Man Reads said that he thinks that I listen to metal or heavy hip-hop music. So I listen to everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. So I started listening to music, whatever my siblings had in the house, that went from like Red Hot Chili Peppers to The Offspring to my sister was really into Celine Dion. We were all kind of into the boy band stuff and the girl bands, so like Atomic Kitten and the Spice Girls. You had Five, Boyzone, Westlife, Backstreet Boys. Then as I was growing up, I was super into singing, so I was very into Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, LeAnn Rimes. Love LeAnn Rimes. Then I was very much an emo kid, but I was like pop punk kind of stuff, so I was listening to a lot of Paramore, a lot of Green Day, a lot of Bowling for Soup for years. Got into things like Bring Me the Horizon. There's a band called Architects that I love. Blink-182. I've been listening to Beyonce since I was about 5 or 6 years old. Started off with Destiny's Child, and I have been her like #1 fan ever since. I have one of my favourite bands would be Linkin Park. I have tattoos, a tattoo from Linkin Park's lyrics, and I also have Beyonce tattoos as well. Right now I listen to a lot of songs from musicals. I listen to a lot of hip hop because of my dancing, a lot of sort of dance tunes. A good band I listen to these days is Protest Hero. My boyfriend listens to a lot of Tool in the car, so I'm kind of getting into Tool. Gunship as well, it's like a synthwave band. There's just, when I say I listen to everything, I listen to everything. My first album that I bought was Fallen by Evanescence, but I listen to anything. Foo Fighters good. I also listen to some rap as well. Jay-Z did a collaboration album with Linkin Park, of course. Kendrick Lamar, good. So I will listen to anything that gets me moving, gets me dancing, gets me moshing, whatever. I'm there. And I studied music in college, so I studied how to analyze classical systems of music and stuff, so I always also like orchestral music as well, and scores for movies and whatnot, so literally anything. I will listen to anything. So I don't really know what gothy is I know a lot of goths who listen to like EDM music. I don't really know a lot of EDM bands, but I'll definitely dance to it in the club. God, I sound so old. Haven't been in a nightclub in years, but I would have danced to it in there. Next up is a question from Priscilla Bettis. I hope I'm saying your name right. What classic authors have influenced your writing? Ooh, this was a difficult one because I really don't know. I mean, I think I'm only really starting to see my own style in my writing. Up until now, my biggest hurdle was just finishing a story, not even editing it or making it better, it's just getting to the end. So now I'm starting to finish things and go over them and sort of polish them up a bit. I've read a lot of Shirley Jackson and Stephen King, so I'm kind of hoping that their scary and gothic elements kind of work their way into my writing, but I really don't know. I think I must be very much influenced by like the contemporary Irish scene, which is mainly literary writing. So because I take a lot of, in all of the classes I go to, all of the seminars, I'm like the only genre writer. Everyone else does literary writing, so I'm being influenced by the way that they shape narratives and the way that they tell stories with characters and stuff. So I think definitely in terms of that, I'm influenced a lot by the sort of brand new books that are coming out now, because I'm really trying to keep up with the new stuff that's coming out in Ireland at the minute. But in terms of classic writers, I'm not sure, but I'm interested. Whenever I do start publishing, I would be interested to hear what other people think, what kind of influences other people think I've gotten in my writing. That'll be interesting, and I'm sure odd. I'm sure it'll be all writers I've never heard of, but we'll see. Next question is from Drax17. So this plays into me. I did want to react to my first book review on this channel. She asked me, what made you start your channel and how did you feel uploading your first video? So I think I'd wanted to do something like this for a long time, and I couldn't because of my anxiety. I would just think my way out of it. And like almost everything in my life, like quitting my job and doing that thing in the Irish Writers Centre, like starting burlesque and getting on stage, I wanted to do it for a period of time, but I was too scared, and then I got so filled with rage and fury that I just did it anyway, and I just did it out of anger. Like, I have stormed onto stages before because I'm just so pissed off that I'm scared of doing things. So I think you can tell in my first video as well. My actual first video was the booktube newbie tag, and you can tell, if you know me at all, you can tell that I'm angry. I think it was my third time trying to film it, and I just wanted to get it done, and I wanted to get it out there, because I know that just you have to do the crap things first to get better at them. So I'm fine with my first few videos, my first few reviews not being great, because I hope that I got better at them and stuff. I was kind of fine with like posting it. I already had my defenses up, thinking that immediately there would be hundreds of people jumping on to say that I was ugly and I was ridiculous, my voice was stupid and everything was wrong. But thankfully no one really watched it. So that's a good and bad, I suppose. But yeah, and my goal for the channel back then, and still is now, it was kind of not just to talk about books. I mean, I already did reviews on my blog, but I felt like they had to be quite compact. You didn't want to be writing essays on books, whereas in videos I can just ramble on, and I can throw in little things and quips and whatnot in there that I wanted to do. I also wanted it to sort of document really trying to get published and document writing, and you know, if I could make it a regular thing to upload authorship videos and videos of me writing and talking about my writing, it would help me to work things out in my stories, and it would help me to build up a routine. Haven't done that yet, but there is still time. I'm still hoping to do that, and it would just be interesting to look back and see videos of me sort of trying to get stuff done later whenever I am published in some way, so that'll be cool. But let's just please ignore how dirty my laptop is. Let's see what my first book review looks like. Okay, so I don't know how to do picture-in-picture, 100 videos, still never bothered to learn, but we're gonna do it this way and see how it goes. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, but another thing I do want to point out though is that part of me wanted to do video so that it would, I knew that I'd have to talk louder. I feel like I'm screaming right now, but it would teach me how to project my voice, it would teach me how to project emotions and stuff on my face. I was actually real excited for this video, but you can't tell because I look like a robot. But I think I'm getting better at that. I am getting better at moving my face and looking like a human, so we'll see. Hey guys, my name is Gloria and welcome to my first book review on this channel. I've chosen a specific book for today and there's a reason I've chosen that. I just realised I'm wearing the same t-shirt. I didn't do that on purpose. I thought I just picked this out of the wardrobe today. Oh cool. There you go. So back in 2018 I wanted to start a book blog, I wanted to read more books. About to come up to having a book launch for their first book, which... So first of all, I think the music is too loud. Second of all, you can go look back at this yourself, but I still am very uncomfortable staring directly into a lens. It's not an eye, it's not eye contact, but it feels like it to me. My eyes in this video are all over the place. I'm looking at nothing, there's nothing there, but I just cannot look directly into a lens or an eye for too long. My eyes were all over the place. A creepy tree on it. She meets other islanders and tries to get a sense of where her dad grew up. I feel like I look very bored, but I'm actually really not. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to do this, because I'm not good at projecting how I actually feel. People always assume that I'm feeling certain emotions, whereas in my head I'm feeling a completely different emotion. That's just a personal issue of mine, but I thought this might teach me how to better show people how I'm really feeling. It's just, you read it in one sitting, it's less than 300 pages. Look at the energy. It's really some writing today. I bet I did. I'm going to be looking at some of her passages to upload every Monday. We'll see how that goes. God, I look like I'm being tortured. It looks like it honestly looks like I've been held captive and forced to make a BookTube channel instead of excitedly making one. So another reason those videos at the beginning weren't great were because I was determined. I was still so incredibly embarrassed to do anything in front of my boyfriend or my housemate, and for them, I don't like people hearing my voice. I really don't. So like if people call me on public transport, I absolutely hate it because I don't want other people hearing me. Hence, I tend to whisper a lot, which is useless, but I was determined that they wouldn't ever know that I was recording. Like, they knew that I was going to record stuff, but I didn't want them to ever know or be aware of it at the time. So I tried for the first like week or two. I'm not a morning person. I tried getting up at like 6 AM or something, like before they got up for work, and the place where all my books were in the beginning was right behind my boyfriend's desk, and it's like the darkest little alcove ever, so it was like completely dark. I was using like a light that he uses for miniature painting and stuff, like a really bright one. Didn't know how to focus the camera on my face, still kind of don't, and it was just me sitting in a dark corner at 6 a.m, so tired, trying to be excited about books, and I just wanted to go back to bed. And I think that lasted for about a week, and then again I just got annoyed and I was like, if these two fucks can't handle me videoing, they can move out. I should say that neither of them have ever done anything but support everything that I do, but I always just feel you know, anxiety is an irrational disease, you know, what are you going to do about it? So they've gotten used to it, so have I. And the final two-part question is from Alex from Hey Little Thrifter. Alex asked, do I have a name for my burlesque performances? And she also asked, as a writer and reader, do I have any favourite or least favourite words? So yes, I do have a name. My burlesque name is Miss Glory B. I wanted to do a solo, and like I'm part of the Irish Burlesque Academy, and we do a lot of big shows. There's a lot of group dances where you just you can show up and learn the choreography, but then you can go on to do a solo if you want to. And I wanted to do a solo, and then she was like, you need a name to do a solo, and I was like, shit. There are a lot of burlesque name generators, and if you're ever bored, just look up burlesque name generator and you will get an array of bizarre things. But what kept coming up was my actual name, Gloria, kept coming up as this like fancy French or Spanish name or whatever, like Gloria von Violet or something. Oh, that wouldn't be a bad name actually. But I figured partly that it kept coming up, partly that I remember from Will Smith from Prince of Bel-Air said that he was told to make his character's name the same as his actual name, so that if it got popular, people would just be calling him his real name and it wouldn't be some shitty character he didn't like. And also, when you're backstage and in green rooms and stuff and dressing rooms with a load of burlesque dancers, it is so confusing because everyone has at least two names, and then some people have like another alter ego name, and it's just really confusing. There's so many Bellas, and then if a person comes in whose actual name is Bella, it's just so confusing. So I figured, get a name that's close to your own and then you won't be so confused anymore. And I kind of wanted a title as well, like Lady Gaga or something. Finally settled on Miss, which isn't really a title. The B is slightly for Beyonce, but also it's kind of like Miss Glory B, like a evangelical preacher or something. I used to be very religious, so I kind of thought it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. And in a lot of my horrorlesque stuff, I do a lot of demonic kind of anti-Catholic church kind of stuff. A lot of inverted crosses and whatnot, and possessed nuns just for the lulz. So if you want to check out some of my burlesque pictures and stuff, nothing's all together that racy, to be honest. I haven't been doing much recently, especially because there's no gigs, but you can find me at Miss Glory B on Instagram. My first debut gig as Miss Glory B was Deadpool, by the way, and I really miss that. A lot of people to this day still come up to me and say, are you the one who did Deadpool? Which I've only done it once, and I'm like, holy shit, people really like Deadpool around here. Which they should. Part to your question is, do you have any favourite or least favourite words? So when I read this, I was like, no, not really. But then I really started thinking about it. Two words that I found, one that I've always really liked was zenith. It's like the highest point of success, or it's also the point directly above you in the sky, wherever you are. Zenith is a cool word. There's also sonder. So sonder is sort of the concept that every person that is walking past you, or that you see at all, has their own internal lives going on and their own special things going on, so that's cool. There's actually a magazine in Dublin at the minute that you can submit to called Sonder, so that's a cool idea. Cromulent is a perfectly cromulent word. Anyone who watches too much Simpsons like I do. Cromulent. Word I don't like, and it's just because I notice it everywhere, is somnolent, or somnambulism, which is to sleepwalk, I think. It's Stephen King uses it all the flipping time. I think I started noticing it in his book Insomnia, and I really hated that book, so I think he used it too much then. And now every time I read it in one of his stories or one of his books, I just get reminded of how much I hate insomnia. And it just annoys me. But other than that, I don't really... I can't think of any at the minute, but I'm sure there are plenty that fill me with rage, because a lot of things do. But yeah, so that was a fun-ish thing. Thank you so much to everyone who left me a question to actually answer, or an assumption. You should definitely go and follow all those people and check out their videos if they have any. I'll leave the link to my first review up above or down below as well if you want to check that out. It is dire, but you can also see how long my hair got, which is odd. I would have thought it, like 9 months, I would have thought it would have grown. It's 11 months, I can't count. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back on Monday with... I actually have a few videos lined up for next week. I have reviews, unboxings, October wrap up. I have lots of videos coming up, so let's see about that. And I'll also have some NaNoWriMo content as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.